Hello, Commissioner.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Could you give us your reaction to the Valley verdict?
Well, I have no reaction other than to say, obviously, terminated immediately from the department.
Commissioner, can I ask you to step forward just a little bit because our microphones can't reach
Say it
you.
again, please.
I was
Yes,
asking you to
step
step forward,
step
please,
forward.
if that's okay.
Step forward,
Yes,
sure.
sorry. Can you tell us about this splinter group of the disturbance that you're describing last night about what happened? Give us an update on that, please.
Well, I can tell you chronology is, I know it. There was a demonstration at 55th Street and Church Avenue. It started at about 7 o'clock. At about 8:30, people decided to move to the 67th precinct, which is on Snyder Avenue, several blocks away. As they were moving, several of them ran down the street. They started taking fruit from a fruit stand, threw it at police officers. They then went to the station house. They had a demonstration there, and a group broke off and did go into the Rite Aid pharmacy on 41st Street and Church Avenue, and they acted in a disorderly fashion. They trashed the location. They took a man who was a customer. They tried to take the cash register. He tried to stop me. He was hit over the head with a wine bottle, and he went to Kings County Hospital. We believe that we'll be able to make arrests based on the security cameras at that location.
Can you give us an
MTA bus
assessment?
was headed
Can
to
you give
this.
us an assessment of what you think happened? You mentioned a splinter group upstairs during the budget hearing, but Councilmember Williams said this may be like a reaction to all of the police-involved shootings in the area. Can you just respond?
No, it was
to
not all of the people who were at the demonstration. That's the point that I made. I don't think we can ever countenance lawlessness or people being hit over the head with a wine bottle because they're a customer in a Rite Aid store. Nothing justifies that.
Was this more of a crime of opportunity? Is that what this was?
Perhaps, I don't know. I can't get into their heads. I don't see it related to the demonstration, but apparently people took it upon themselves to go and trash the store or try to take the cash register in some way, shape, or form. I don't think that has or should have any relationship to a peaceful demonstration.
So there was an MTA bus that was smashed. Was there any other damage that you
There were
saw?
buses that were windows were broken. There was another store. The front door was pushed in.
Would you describe it as a riot that happened last night?
No, I wouldn't describe it as a riot. It was a disorderly group.
What made you decide to go out there last night? So,
Yeah.
what made you decide to go out there last night? It was at such a late hour to get up and go out there.
Well, obviously, I'm concerned about what was going on at the location. I go out at a lot of late hours that you may not know about.
Were there
Can you recap the circumstances leading up?
Say what?
Can you recap the circumstances leading up to the shooting, and specifically talk about how many witnesses either saw him with a gun, saw him point the gun?
Well, first of all, we are not speaking to the shooting officers because of an agreement that we have with the district attorney. Why do we do that? Because if we speak to the officers involved in the shooting, we can give them immunity. So they ask us not to speak to those officers. So we don't have direct information from the officers themselves. What we do know is a gun was recovered on the scene. We have 3 witnesses, 2 of which say that the officer said, "Don't move." Another witness says the officer said, an officer says, "Freeze." Shots then are then fired. And these are 2 witnesses out of the 3. One of the witnesses also says, "What do you have in your hands?" "Don't move. What do you have in your hands?" And then another witness says, "Freeze."
These are civilian witnesses.
Civilian witnesses.
And are there any witnesses that say they specifically say they don't see a gun or they don't hear some verbal commands, or is it just those 3 witnesses?
No, we canvass. What we do is canvass a lot of people. We have several ear witnesses that hear the shots fired, but nothing more. These are the 3 witnesses that have something of import. Now, when the 3rd witness said, looking out the window, said it was a marked radio car with 2 uniformed officers. Obviously, that's not the case.
And it was,
So that was the third witness.
and it was
How many
just one
officers
handgun that was,
Say what?
one handgun was discovered at the
That's right.
scene?
Yeah,
That was the
38
only,
caliber revolver.
I'm sorry?
38 caliber revolver.
And-
This gun was, we believe it was sold in Florida, perhaps 30 years ago.
Witnesses say that the gun was pointed at the officer at any time?
No, I told you what we have as far as the witness is concerned.
Commissioner, how many officers fired?
2 officers.
2
fired.
officers. Okay.
And do you feel comfortable at this point that, not having talked to the officers, does it appear that it's by the book?
Process is going forward. The district attorney, obviously, information is put before. The district attorney decides whether or not it goes to a grand jury. There's nothing to indicate that this shooting at this time was outside the guidelines.
Sir, there's another vigil planned tonight in Brooklyn. Can you talk about any increased police presence that you may provide in light of what happened last night?
Commissioner, we heard from Councilwoman Helen Foster inside that she described an incident where she had an interaction with police officers where she was cursed at and reduced to tears. Do you have any remark or comment on her?
No, I don't. And she's done the right thing. She's reported to the CCRB, Civilian Complaint Review Board.
Is that kind of behavior acceptable, though?
Of course not.
Commissioner, do you have any plans to read the Mapping Muslims report released yesterday?
I haven't seen it yet.
Some of the unions have been complaining that $30 million in money that they say was supposed to go to the pension fund has instead been pocketed by the police department. Do you have any comment on that?
Yes, I suggest that they talk to the actuary in New York City. The provision where that money was supposed to go to the pension fund was eliminated in 1995.
Sir, can you speak specifically to the exchange you had with Councilmember Jumaane Williams in the budget hearing where he invited you and Mayor Bloomberg to come walk the street with him? Can you just talk, you said you're out there all the time. Is there any particular reason that you won't join with Jumaane Williams? Because you said it was
I'll
a
do what
photo
I
op
think
day.
is appropriate.
In the Mapping Muslims report, the activists say that they want imams and Muslim leaders to say that informants are not tolerated in their communities. I'm wondering if you have a
Yeah,
response.
I haven't read the report. I can't comment. Anything else?
And just to be clear on the original shooting that with Mr. Gray, according to published reports, police sources say this is a known gang member, that maybe the Splinter Group was part of gangs who were retaliating because they're upset that he was shot. Can you comment on any of
I
that,
can't
sir?
comment on that.
Do you know if the kids who actually...
Was he a gang member, the dead person?
I don't think it's appropriate to comment on that. We're looking at the 4 corners of the event itself.
The folks who eventually caused the
Anything
disturbance...
else?
Commissioner, yeah, the demonstration at the precinct last night, was that, how would you characterize it? Was it peaceful itself, apart from the splinter?
Well, we had blocked off the street in front of the precinct, and the demonstration actually there's a pen. It was actually outside the pen.
Uneventful, apart from...
Somewhat raucous. But, it's fine. People were peaceful at that location, acceptable for me.
Were the people who caused the violence the same ones who were at the protest originally?
Okay.
Thank you.